Ever wondered how a god was born? Well, in this case, it's a goddess, but there is a painting that might answer that question. The painting in question is The Birth of Venus by Florentian artist who went by Sandro Botticelli. It was painted as a commission for Lorenzo de' Medici in the late 15th century, more precisely between 1485 and 1486, so first Italian Renaissance. Paintings used to be quite impressive back then, and that's why it took an entire year to be completed. Imagine painting a picture 2 meters 78 in length, 1 meter 72 in width. The technique used is tempera, a type of oil paint. It is also the first ever Tuscan painting to be painted on canvas instead of wood. This painting was controversial mainly because of the nudity on the main character. Venus is represented not wearing anything since she was just born. In the art we know, artistic nudity is a common thing, but it wasn't back then. It was prohibited by the church and even more so in the case of a woman. Now, truth to be told, Venus on the painting is not completely nude. Her body is partly covered by her long, unkempt and wavy gold hair, a symbol of femininity. In this detail alone can be resumed Botticelli's entire art style. Unlike his peers, he privileged wavy lines and pale colors reminiscent of medieval paintings. Unlike most medieval paintings, though, this scene is mythological, and in the major part of the picture, all you can see is Venus. She's standing there in her full glory on a huge seashell emerging from the waves. The goddess of love embodies the duality of the feeling. She's both innocent and sensual. The first aspect is represented by the mostly pastel palette, lots of the saturated blue and green in the background, light pinks, greys and whites in the foreground, while the second aspect is represented by the shapes, the waves and of course the nudity. That makes 1/3 of the picture. The other 2/3 are occupied by 3 support characters, 2 on the left embracing each other and 1 on the right, meant to represent fertility. As for the symbolism, it's gotten Platonic allegations, blending physical and spiritual love into one entity. However, I went with a different interpretation. So, long story short, Venus was born after Kronos emasculated Uranus, the sky, therefore she's born of a forced and an unnatural act. To me, this reflects how the feeling of love has been over time made into a social construction with particular expectations. Therefore, I chose to represent what happens to a person that does not fit into these expectations and how they are stripped of their self and self-love by external influences, which to me is represented by the rainbow flag getting torn away. Like in the original painting, the person in white is surrounded by allegories. White symbolizes purity, but it's also a reference to marriage, which is an institution that can be harmful when forced upon, and there is an undertone about women's rights on their body. The shell becomes a book because education is often used to climb the social ladder by disadvantaged minorities. The support characters here are capitalism, social pressure, and sense of doom. They are dressed symbolically. For capitalism, I went with an Oshik Bashok style as it is made to appeal, but in fact it has so many downsides. The costume suit for social pressure is a model of a standard everyone has to fit in, and black is the color of grief. This, of course, is a free interpretation, but it shows the depth of various artworks and the questions they can ask us, no matter our background or time. And if you want to, you can go ask it your question yourself at the Galleria degli Uffizi.